Fraternal greetings and welcome to the Great Hall of the Grenada Boys Secondary School, the oldest boys' institution in Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique. This morning, we are having the official launch of our 140th anniversary, and so it's a pleasure to have you join us, whether currently or later. As we commence the proceedings, we would first have the March On of Colors, which would be facilitated by the GBSS Cadet Corps and, of course, the Drum Corps. That would be followed by the playing of the national anthem, and we would then have prayer, which would be led by Vice Principal Dubisset. I invite us all to stand for the March On of Colors, followed by the national anthem.
Let us pray. O God Almighty, the Ancient of Days, the God who is the same yesterday, today, and forever, we extol you and we give you blessing and thanks. Thank you for the Grenada Boys Secondary School, its start, its journey, and its continuation. We thank you for all the stakeholders who have invested in the intellectual development, skill, and talent demonstration of all the boys and girls who have journeyed through this very august institution. We thank you for all parents, all of the leadership from the Ministry of Education over the years and today. We thank you for all of our headmasters and principals all members of staff, past and present, and our past and current student body. Today, as we launch marking 140th anniversary of excellence of a school that has impacted not only individual lives and families and communities, local, but regional and international. We turn our hearts with gratitude to you and say thanks, and ask you to continue to undergird this very important institution, that we will continue to make even greater marks on the lives of the boys that continue to journey with us and also our country, increasing productivity from good citizens produced through this institution, and to see Grenada go forward in so many ways that this school have contributed to. Again, we say thank you, and we bless your holy and matchless name. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Amen.
Thank you, Mr. Dubisset. The colors will now march off and be hoisted outside of the hall. Thank you very much, Drum Corps and cadets. Distinguished members of the head table, and to my immediate left, Vice Principal Mr. Kenny Dubisset. Next to Mr. Dubisset is the President of our PTA, Mr. Lyndon Bob. And sitting to the left of Mr. Bob is a long-standing teacher and chairperson of the anniversary committee, Mrs. Curl Antoine Hippolyte. Of course, we, as the gentlemen at the table, are attired in our GBSS garb because we are proud alumni of this great institution. Unfortunately, in the days of Sister Hippolyte, the girls had already left this great institution. Nonetheless, as a teacher, I can tell you, in her genes is the GBSS. Thank you very much for joining us, gentlemen and ladies. Pleasant morning also to the teachers who are present with us, the members of the media, those of you joining us online, we welcome you, be it in the diaspora or wherever else. And of course, sitting behind us is a representation of the GBSS, a representative body of the clubs, of the houses, of all of the activities that take place at the GBSS. We've just won the 2024 Grenlec debate, of course, retaining our championship. And so you would see one brother in his blazer representing academia. And of course, those of you who are members of the various houses, the champion house in the 2025 sport meet, mini Olympics, which was held in 2024, is Hughes. So I know the Hughesers are quite happy. Those of us who are Archer people, we are happy. The Baragi spirit is alive. Hughes has gotten it for this year, but we will take it back next year, God's willing. Batiste is on its way up. And there was indeed a hullabaloo about Maguire and the performance of Maguire. But it's clear to us that each of our houses in the cycle of the GBSS, at some point you would find that each of the houses will take the top position in the inter-house championships. Ladies and gentlemen, today is a special day. It's the end of the semester, the end of the term, but the launch of this 140th anniversary celebration of the GBSS. The theme, 140 years of legacy, honoring the past, embracing the present, inspiring the future. A great theme. And this is what we would rally around going into 2025. As a matter of fact, in some respects, we have already started because, as I said before, the 2025 mini Olympics, they were held in 2024. 2 weeks ago, we held our sports. It's a bit different, but it's a work in progress. So that is also part of the celebration. The GBSS can boast of being the oldest boys' institution in Grenada. As the oldest secondary school, the St. Joseph's Convent, who is celebrating 150 years, they hold that title. But in terms of the education of boys and men in Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique, and the region, the GBSS holds the title there. The school has been through a lot. As a matter of fact, in the early years in its formation on 20th February 1885, it was not called GBSS. It was called St. George's Grammar School, located in St. George's. It was not until about 1910, 1911, when there was a relocation to what is now the police barracks area in the town of St. George's, pretty close to the bus terminus there, that it was called or renamed the GBSS, Grenada Boys Secondary School. So it was in the heart of town. Later on, in about 1946, when the Windward Islands Battalion moved out from this location, the barracks became the home of the GBSS. And so those of us who joined the institution thereafter, up to the time of Hurricane Ivan, would boast about the cream barracks, would boast about those window sticks that we had to use to push up the windows and to take them down. And unfortunately, some of the fights involved some of those window sticks. It is part of the history and legacy of the GBSS. Fortunately, today, we have a new facility. The only thing standing that remains from that old legacy is where we're sitting today, the auditorium. But everything else around is now new construction, basically. So if you have not been to Grenada in a while and plan to come back, you might have a little shocker on arrival at the compound. But because it's in your genes, you'll definitely find your way around. So this morning, we want to launch this celebration. We are doing it now that those of you who are abroad and are planning to come home, whether it's for the summer or any time during next year, please God, that you could now pencil and pen into your diaries what is happening at GBSS, that you can be involved actively in the process. So this is why we're having it now. So it's my pleasure on behalf of our senior management team, on behalf of our students, on behalf of our teachers, on behalf of our parents, to welcome you to this lunch this morning. I will now hand the floor over to Vice Principal Dubisset, who would share with us on some of what has been taking place at the great GBSS in terms of music. We've always had music, but we have been taking it a step higher in recent times, of course, with some support. So Mr. Dubisset is going to share with us on music and some of the other things happening at the GBSS.
Thank you, Mr. James. Indeed, as you rightfully stated, the GBSS always had music as part of its curriculum. And we could recall in our days, it was offered, I think, at the lower level in the classrooms. However, I think over the years, that was discontinued. And we today are committed to ensure that education through music is returned to our boys, as many of them come from homes and communities where music is important. In fact, to our culture in Grenada, music is a big sector. In fact, one of our major activities, that is Spice Mass, incorporates a lot of that. And so we are committed to ensuring that we do our part to ensure that our boys benefit from the academic improvement, the confidence building, the opportunity to foster creativity, and a positive sense of self-worth that engaging in the learning of an instrument provides. And so, in partnership with the Ministry of Culture, we have agreed, I think, pre-COVID, to host the National School Orchestra, which has a focus on wind instruments like the clarinet, the saxophone, the trombone, and trumpets. And so our boys, together with other students from other schools, secondary schools within the Tantine area, and also some primary schools, do meet on Wednesdays and Fridays at 2:30 to 4:30 to have practice sessions. And so we have seen boys discovering their ability in that area of music, the wind instruments, and also developing those abilities. And we try to provide platforms for the displaying of their abilities and talents. We also encourage the drum corps, and as you would be aware, GBSS hosts the best drum corps on island, and we are looking forward to improve on that and to expand that beyond just the drum corps, to adding to it the trombone and trumpets, so that we can grow our now existing drum corps into a full-fledged marching band over time. And we want to say also that we have a school band, We are going to be doing a relaunching in January 2025. And we have seen the benefits there of boys who have abilities coming to this GBSS in music, whether it's playing the steel pan, the guitar, the drum sets, and other instruments. We have boys who haven't completed their CXCs and done reasonably well. They form bands and have been employed by the tourism sector. And I think one of our top bands plays at the Sandals La Source Resort. And we're very, very happy to be contributing to the development of culture in our country. And of course, providing avenues that through music. And I also must add also creative, the theater arts, because we have in the last school year, we started the instructional sessions at the Form 2 level for the music theory, fundamental theory, and also the theater arts. And again, we are truly grateful for the support through the Ministry of Culture in this endeavor, because our boys have so many gifts and talents, and providing them with opportunity to discover and to develop it. It helps with the discipline in the classroom, and also the discipline in the classroom, there's a spin-off as well with the application to music. So they expect a lot from the Grenada Boys Secondary School as we continue to develop our music program, and I would say generally creative arts, which includes, of course, music, but also it covers the theater arts, and we're looking to grow in that area as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Excuse me. Thank you very much, Mr. Dubiset. And you might be sitting there and saying, well, GBSS and music, why music? We are providing for our boys holistic education. And we know that when it comes to the academics, we are there and will always be there. But the constituent that we now serve is not strictly an academic-oriented constituent, but we have those who have great inclination to technical education. So we are offering more technical subjects and opportunities here at the GBSS, and we intend to increase that going forward. But we are also offering the creative arts, because we have recognized, as Mr. Dubiset has indicated, that this is an area where many of our boys are getting involved and they are making good money. They're making good money. We grew in a society where a hullabaloo was made over your boy being a doctor, being a lawyer, being a teacher. But things have changed a bit. As a society, we have evolved to the level where now we recognize that all professions are important, and whatever a boy's inclination is, that we should support him, that he can be successful in that endeavor. And so hence, we thought it necessary to highlight this aspect of our school. We are now going to hear from our PTA president. Collaboration is extremely important here at the GBSS. Having over 760 boys is no easy matter to handle. And so it's important to have all parents on board with us when we have our activities working with us. And this is where our PTA come in. So, President Bob?
Thank you, our principal. First and foremost, I want to congratulate the school on this very important activity, which is the launch of the 140th anniversary of the school. Now, the school provides a well-rounded or all-rounded development for our boys. And the PTA plays an important role. And I want to emphasize that. Because for PTA, it's not just initiating activities, fundraising activities. And I think now, more so than ever, that our parents have to play an even more important role in our development of our boys. And we've seen, as a result, when our parents don't play that particular role. So as PTA, we have done quite a bit, and there are a number of other initiatives as well that we want to highlight. One initiative that we've had and been in the planning stage for a while is a symposium for fathers and boys. And we believe there's been a disconnect with our fathers and our boys. And we know in any family, the fathers play a critical role. And I really want to emphasize that, a critical role, our fathers. And I'm not downplaying on the role that our mothers play. But I think our fathers play that critical role, particularly so for our boys. And one may say, yes, boys tend to look at mommy, and the girls tend to look at daddy. But I think there's in the formative years of our boys, the father plays that important role. And so this symposium was the hope is to try to find out what are the challenges our boys face and how we as fathers can help and our boys. And so I'm hopeful that we can do so soon. In fact, it may be within that 140th year, which is next year, 2025, that we can see this come true, because it's something been in the planning for a little while. There are other initiatives. I think we have to continue to be creative as parents. It's not easy. I am a father, and my boy is somewhere around. It's not easy growing our teenage boys and girls too. But we have to continue finding creative ways to help them with their challenges. And the challenges we know are many. And so there are going to be some other initiatives as well, but we believe that symposium is going to be useful to hear from our boys. Hopefully they can open up, and to also encourage some of their fathers who sometimes don't come to PTA meeting, don't come to activities, but those fathers whom we want to target, and for them to be able to come out and have that discussion with boys and fathers. Again, I'm not in any way playing down on the mothers, but we believe that our fathers, and I think it's particularly so that we're in a school with boys, I think the fathers play that important role. So as PTA, we committed to support and assist the school in its development, and we want to congratulate again the school on this initiative of the launch and say thank you to all the past parents and students and stakeholders of the school, and principal, staff, and stakeholders of the school for all their contributions over the years. Thank you.
Thank you very much, President Bob, for sharing with us, and thank you for the work that you've been doing with us at the GBSS, you and your executive. Anytime we call on PTA to help us with anything, I must say that we have the fullest of support. And those of you viewing, all boys, all girls, your support is absolutely necessary. You see, what we have to remember is this is a school of great tradition. This is a school that has a great legacy. We need to ensure that we pass that on to the current students. So it could just mean you talking to a boy in your village, on the street, who you may see and know that he's out of order because you know what the GBSS way is. That has not changed. The standard of the GBSS is still the standard. We promote excellence. Excellence in academia, excellence on the field of play, excellence in deportment. Now, here we see the evidence of excellence. We have some of our trophies here. Some, and I say some because indeed it's some. Because remember, we had two major fires that destroyed many of these winnings. So this is some of what we have accumulated over the years from then. The office upstairs is still filled. So a representation. The winning of the debate, again, indicates clearly that the spirit of excellence is alive and well at the GBSS. And so even if you are not in the school as a teacher, even if you don't have a boy here currently, once you are part of that GBSS family, old boy, old girl, past parent, you have a responsibility to work with us and to help us to maintain the esprit de corps of the GBSS and to ensure that the current boys, that they're falling in line. We are now at a very important juncture where you will now hear what's in the works in terms of plans that we have put in place. Of course, other things would happen throughout the year, but we needed to ensure that you are aware of the major activities. So I would now hand us over to Mrs. Hippolyte, Chair of the committee, to share with us.
All right, good morning, everyone. I do apologize for my voice today. This is not how I usually sing on a daily basis, but I'm battling the cold and the dust and all that. So I apologize for this. Anyway, it's a good day. It's a good day for the GBSS, for the Grenada Boys Secondary School. I want to start by saying, since its inception, the GBSS has made an indelible mark in the Grenadian society and continues to make that indelible mark. And I know our listening audience, wherever you are, you will agree with this statement. And for this reason, we're excited to launch our list of activities or celebrations for this or our coming year, 2025. I must pause and thank you, the old boys and old girls who have been given your time, your money, your support over the years. For example, up to our recently held sports meet, I contacted many old boys and girls, and they gave, they were willing, they were happy to give. And I want to thank you, and I want to, I hope you continue to donate and give back to our school. All right? Guided by the theme, 140 years of legacy, honoring the past, embracing the present, inspiring the future. We endeavor to continue or to showcase and even announce the rich legacy of the Grenada Boys Secondary School. We affectionately say every day, great is the GBSS. Sometimes some teachers, when they see me, our opening remark, our greeting remark is great is the GBSS. All right, so that's how proud we are of this rich institution, as Mr. James indicated. I went to the Anglican High School, but from the first day I came here, when Mr. Ashby was here, he says, you're not baptized, you're a GBSS girl, all right? And I have taken up that role from since that time in 2000. All right, so let me tell you what we have planned for you in 2025. So you will book your dates, you will book your flights, that is, and you'll be present to all activities we have coming up. So first of all, in January, I think it's only fitting that we meet with all old boys and old girls of the Grenada Boys Secondary School. It will be at the auditorium. The date will be posted on our GBSS Facebook page. I want to invite all of you to join that Facebook page. Everything you need to know about GBSS is there. It's a very active page, so everything you need to know is there. So in January, we have our first meeting, all old boys and old girls, as we want to revamp the local chapter of our alumni. Secondly, in February, we know GBSS Day is February 2nd. I think everybody knows that. The public, even though they forget, the old boys and old girls are outfitted in their ties and they show support for that day. On that day, 2025, it will be on a Sunday. So we have to give God thanks. We will all gather at the People's Church in St. Paul's for 7 o'clock. Old boys, old girls, past teachers, current students, present teachers, well-wishers, supporters, friends. We have quite a bit of those. We invite you to the People's Church on the 2nd of February, when we return thanks to God and we ask him to continue to guide the great GBSS, all right? Following that church service, we are planning to have, or we're having, a brunch. Tentatively, it's at the Secret Harbor. However, as I said on the Facebook page, as time gets closer, we will post where we're having it and all that. We want you again from church. We attend the brunch, we meet, we greet, and we exchange, ideas, all that at that point in time. So feel free to join us, and we will again announce it soonest. For the month of February, I think that's what we have for yes. So we go on to the 13th, however, of February. We have awards night. And awards ceremony, we'll be honoring, as the theme says, our past principals, teachers, students, who have done well out there, who have done well for the school. So that date, the 13th of February, we invite everyone. It's a GBSS thing. So we invite everyone. It will be held at the auditorium as per usual, and information again will be updated as time draws near. In March, we have GBSS in the city. We will be exhibiting the talents of our past, present teachers, students in the city. The location will be announced soonest again. What I can tell you is that you will see us. We will have a march through the city. Our current students, our current teachers. We'll be parading our past principals and past teachers likewise. That day you will know we're there. Our drum corps will accompany us. We'll be loud. We will let the entire Grenada know that GBSS is still alive and is still well, and we're still doing great things. Also, we plan to do Eyes Right to our original locations. As Mr. James mentioned, we will be doing Eyes Right and paying homage to where it all started, where all this greatness started. All right, so tune in for that GBSS in the city. And if you're an old boy there and you have something to offer, you have a talent you want to showcase that day. For example, we have our vocalists, we have our persons who we know they do spoken word, we have the steel pan, we have musicians, we have the soca artists. Yes, Dash, he's always willing and able, and once we call him, he's there. So we have all these talents to showcase, and our current students, the musicians we have here, everybody will be on display on that day. Again, it's in March. After that, we're looking to have, in April, a Ramona cruise. Ramona cruise. April, as we know, it is the month for Intercall, and we foresee a victory in Intercall. And we foresee also a victory celebration. So we want to invite all our old boys or old girls, our well-wishers. I always say that we have quite a bit of well-wishers. They didn't come to the GBSS, but they're always supporting this institution. We want to invite you to the Ramona Cruise. It will be held on the 12th of April. Details will follow, as where you can purchase tickets and all that. So I hope you're writing down the dates. You don't want to miss a thing next year. Yes, God spare life. We pray every day that God spare our lives, so we continue to enjoy life and to celebrate this great institution. So see you on the 12th of April for the Ramona Cruise. In May, earlier this year, I believe, we had an after-work lime, and the old boys and old girls, they can't stop talking about it. They want more. They want to have one every month. Yes, they enjoy the session, regrouping, meeting their old classmates and old teachers and so, and they've been asking. And we have answered. May 30th, we're having an after-work lime for old boys and old girls. Yes, again, details will follow. Just make sure and jot it down in your schedule so it's free for that day. In June and July, we do not have any big event, meaning a major event for the persons outside of the GBSS. When I say that internally, we'll have some activities for the boys, but externally, there's no major event for the old boys and old girls. However, and we have saved that the June and July for you to relax, because we have one of the biggest ones coming up in August 2025. We are culminating with a gala, honoring a legend. And I know all of you you have an idea who I'm speaking about. Honoring a legend. We will have a gala as we honor the great Victor Ashby, the longest serving principal of the GBSS. Old boys have been knocking our doors daily, have been calling, asking, when are we going to celebrate or honor such a man? We have again answered your call. So for those in the diaspora, we have chosen August because we know you'll be here for the carnival. I say your because I don't really partake, but for the carnival activities, we know you'll be here. We know you're coming to visit your families. And what better time to be present on August 2nd to honor a legend. We have a tentative venue. However, we have not reached out as yet. We're looking for a big place. We're looking for a beautiful environment. And we're looking at the Radisson Crown Ballroom. So you know, from now, get your outfits ready. Since you hear the Radisson Crown Ballroom, you know, we speak of formal. So get your outfits ready. Keep that date in mind. We want to see all old boys and old girls. You know, in Grenada or sometimes in the world, we tend to pay homage when somebody cannot hear us. We want to stop that. So we want it when we want to pay homage, we want to say thanks, we want to say how grateful we are for the years of contribution of Mr. Victor Ashby, when he can hear us and when he knows that what he did, although he didn't do it, you know, for praise, but it was impactful. Up to last week, a gentleman came in and he said he cannot stop thanking Mr. Ashby and he wants to do it in a tangible way. All right, so I'll see every one of you on August 2nd as we culminate all the GBSS celebrations. 140 years. Great is the GBSS. Thank you, Mr. James.
Thank you very much, Chairman, for sharing with us what's happening. And as we speak about honoring a legend, once you've been to GBSS in the 80s, come up, you know the kind of impact that Mr. Victor Ashby has had on the institution. Brought a great level of stability because prior to that, as the history notes, there were constant changes, regular changes in principals and leadership at the school. So he came in at a time during the revolution, he brought some stability to the institution. And so we want to pay homage to him. There are many of you who have been reaching out with different ideas as to what you want to do, what you're thinking about. Year groups are contemplating, have been having discussions, and so we want to encourage you to now that you know that the activity is on, that you start to concretize these ideas, reach out to us. As a school, you can reach out to me as principal, any member of the committee, that we know exactly what you're doing. And so as we put the program together, that we could ensure that everything is represented in that evening. One of the things that we're doing also this year is to send some of our boys to the pen relays in 2025. On the stage with us are a few of the boys who were part of that team. Gentlemen, could you stand? These gentlemen will be venturing to the pen relays to represent the GBSS and to represent Grenada, of course. The support from this, the charge in this instance, is being led by the Alumni International Federation, AIF. They're working collaboratively with us to make sure that these guys get there. If you're a member of the AIF, you know that fundraising activities are ahead. If you're not, whether you're in Grenada or anywhere else, and you would like to contribute to this venture, I encourage you to please do so, because we have to ensure that the boys get their visas and so on. We have to ensure that we have some pocket change for them, because this is a GBSS activity. The GBSS will be represented internationally. many of these boys here are not just athletes, but in terms of their academics, they have done well and continue to do well. Ethan Sam, for example, already has under his belt 9 subjects. Now, a young man like this going out there, getting the opportunity to be for that exposure, opportunities can be great. And we want to ensure that we are part of this initiative. Brother Kirani James, Dr. Kirani James, our Olympian and old boy, has indicated his support for this activity and for the opportunities that can come from it. And so we want to encourage you. The boys need to be there for the last week in April because the meet would be the last weekend. And so we crave and we ask for your support in this endeavor. Gentlemen, thank you very much. "140 years of legacy, honoring the past, embracing the present, inspiring the future." Brothers and sisters, the GBSS has made its mark. The GBSS is making its mark. And the GBSS will continue as we march on to 150 to make its mark. Dr. Timothy Antwine, Dr. Dwight Venner, Sean Lambert, Dr. Sean Lambert, Dr. Kirani James, Lyndon Victor, Junior Murray, Roll Lewis, Dash Ledneg, in the circles of government, H.A. Blaze, Sir Leo de Gale. We boast about Minister Andy, Minister for Mobilization. Minister Ron, Minister Andal, Minister Lennox Andrew. And the list goes on. Yours truly, Kenny James, Kenneth Dubisette, Lyndon Bob, in the area of business. Just a few. Many of us may not even know, who are making tremendous contributions, not just to Grenada, not just to the region, but to the world. Old boys, old girls of this great institution. We have a responsibility as the current leadership, as your current principal. I need to ensure that I lead this institution into the future and to make sure that the traditions of excellence, the tradition of balance, the tradition of exemplifying GBSS-ness is transferred to our boys. And so as we launch this celebration, as we reflect on the greatness of the institution, I want to encourage all of us as members of this great GBSS family to support the activities, support in your attendance, continue to support through your finances, support in your encouragement of our boys. We know that there's a lot of things around that's distracting them, but we firmly believe that with proper structures, with the intervention of parents, old boys, old girls, and wider society, that we can do well to secure the future of our country, to secure the future of our young men. As I always say to them, we are producing, they are the future leaders of Grenada and the world. They are the future husbands, boyfriends, the men of our society. And so we want to ensure that they do well. And so I encourage you to come on board with us. Make yourselves available. You may have some idea of something that you think we can do during the year. Reach out to us and let us have, for this, our 140th anniversary, one of the best celebrations that we have ever had. So on behalf of the GBSS, I want to thank you for joining us. I want to say a special thanks to Mrs. Payne and her team, one of our teachers, who has led the decoration of this great stage and this great hall for this activity. I want to thank TNR Communications and, of course, the representatives from MTV and other media houses who may have joined us. Thank you very much for coming, our students, and of course, teachers, members at the head table. Thank you very much for being a part of this lunch. And we look forward to 2025 and an awesome celebrations. So this being said, I would say to you, have a blessed and a Merry Christmas. Remember that Christ is the reason for the season, and we should ensure that we put some focus, some emphasis on that aspect. It's part of the holistic development. And as we always say, great is the GBSS. Thank you. God bless you.